And what's the worst part about the sport?
The worst part about the sport? Modern day speaking, social media. That's probably the worst thing I can say that's about the sport. And just the bullying, the attacking. I would say there's a lot of, like, I don't want to just target these accounts, but anonymous cheerleading accounts who don't. There's positive anonymous cheerleading accounts, and then there's negative anonymous cheerleading accounts. And just since social media has gotten so big, it's really easy for people to nitpick certain cheer teams and just to tear people down in the industry when cheerleading is already like looked down as a sport. So as cheerleaders, we should be lifting each other up rather than tearing each other down, especially if we want our sport to be looked at seriously by other people.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into it. I'm glad you said that, because we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper. Where do you think that comes from? You know, especially
insecurity.
From other teams or other athletes that make those accounts? Or where do you think that energy comes from when the cheer world is really fighting to be accepted by the other sports?
Yeah, so when it comes from teams, that's definitely competitiveness showing. Just like sports fans, when you have like University of Texas versus University of Oklahoma, there's always going to be that hatred because they're competitive with each other. But when it's certain individuals, unless they have a vendetta towards a person, I would just say it's insecurity, just like any other bully. People bully other people because they are insecure about themselves. Not that everyone's insecure. I don't want to target that, but that's mainly the thing when people specifically create an anonymous cheer account to target others and to just not spread positivity. That's
so kind of shifting gears a little bit. What components make up a great team?
Make up a great team? I've said this for a while. It's always evident when a team performs their chemistry. Chemistry is probably the biggest thing that a team needs to have. If you don't have good chemistry, it's going to show.
Do you think that happens more at practice or at team bonding events?
I think team bonding is crucial for good chemistry. Because during practice, that's all you see of your teammates, and it's all related to cheer. But whenever you have team bonding, then you get the opportunity to build relationships with them that aren't related to cheer, and so that brings you closer to people. For instance, this year on Texas Tech, we practice at 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, us college students aren't lively at 6 a.m. 3 times a week. So then we finally decided to start doing team bonding to get us closer as a team. And I mean, we did exercises and we did activities, and that like helped us tremendously. So definitely good chemistry and having trust in each other, building confidence within each other, like be each other's biggest fans, and that's what, in my opinion, is a successful team.
So when we moved down to Texas in 2005, the biggest gym at the time was Spirit of Texas, right? We were always in competition with them. Every competition, it was like us against them.
Yeah.
I felt like we always lost to them. All the big competitions, right? I was kind of salty, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So how would you describe your experience there when they're at their peak popularity?
My experience there, I'm overall just super grateful for Spirit of Texas. I got there when I was 11, and I left my senior year, so I spent from my 6th grade to my senior year. I loved my experience at Spirit of Texas. My coaches taught me a lot of what I know now. Actually, my coaching style is branched from what I learned at Spirit of Texas. They care about their athletes. They care about attention to detail. Overall, I love my experience at Spirit.
It was always mythical to us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never stepped foot in the gym. I would always see you guys at competitions, and you know, it was a little bit intimidating, you know, kind of like how cheer athletics does now. It's one of those things, so I was always curious about that.
I was too before, so I was hesitant to try out at Spirit because they had this stigma that the coaches were mean and the coaches were scary and they would yell at you, and you know, but in the same light, you don't win the Super Bowl by a coach babying you and treating you like a baby. You know, you're gonna have to be yelled at a couple times, but like I said earlier in this, like it stems from love, you know. So yeah, it was scary at first, but once you learn that your coaches are coming from a good place, then everything works out.
Competing at the highest level on both ends of the spectrum. What would you say is the biggest difference between all-star cheer and college cheer?
Ooh, definitely the skills that we're throwing. You can relate college cheer to what is now level 7 and what was level 6 just by some of the things we do. In college, we have to do game day before we compete, and I would actually say the biggest difference from college to all-star is at college we gotta go on hard floor. So we have no springs under us, whereas in all-star we use a spring floor, so we're able to do a little bit harder things. And just in college there's more of that collegiate look to where what you would see on a college sideline, and all-star is more flashy, more showy, more intricate, to me more entertaining. I like all-star more than college, but don't get me wrong, I love college, but I would definitely say the biggest things is the skills that we do, the material that we show, and our performance for.
So I'm interested. The atmosphere, right? So I've been on the all-star mat, I've been to NCAA, competitive NCAA, and there's nothing like that atmosphere, right? There's nothing like being on that floor with being in that main room, everybody watching, there's nothing like it, right? But I've never been on a football field where you've got 50,000, 75,000 fans that are all there watching you. So what's the difference in the atmosphere and which one do you prefer?
Ooh. Okay, I'll start this off with, I'm not a sports person. I'm not a sports fan at all. College has gotten me into that a little bit. I would say
football or football and basketball?
Football and basketball. I've never watched either, but so whenever I started college and whenever I had to cheer for the football games and the basketball games, that changed my perspective on it. I got to learn a little bit more about the sport, but I mean, I remember there are times when during our pregame and the national anthem is playing and just the whole stadium is roaring. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes because it's a cool experience, you know, getting to cheer for a D1A school on the football field. Even our basketball team is really good too at Tech, and so that atmosphere is nuts. But I will say I still prefer the NCAA or Arena or Worlds stage, because then that attention is on us. That attention is on our team, whereas at a football game, basketball game, the attention is rightfully so on the basketball and football team. Not taking away from the experience, because it's one of the cool experiences of my life, getting to cheer for a basketball team and a football team at a university. But cheerleading is my passion, and performing is what I love to do, and so that's a little bit of difference about them. They're both amazing, but I would prefer performing still.
So you mentioned earlier that it's a girl-dominated sport. I mean, it's kind of easy to see because on the mat you're going to see boys outnumbered like 4-1, 5-1 sometimes, right? What role do you think that boys, males, play in the sport? And how important are they to validating cheerleading as a sport?
You know, cheerleading would not be the same if it wasn't for males. While it's very female dominated as athletes, there's majority of the coaches that I know at least are male. There's of course a lot of female, but cheerleading wouldn't be the same without males. Males kind of push the envelope as far as tumbling, and females do as well. And there's just a lot of stigmas about male cheerleaders being in the industry. It's grown a lot more now that our society is growing as well. But I would just, male cheerleaders, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself. We grow the sport, and cheerleading wouldn't be the same without us. So I mean, that's my biggest thing on that.
Me and you both started real young. Being as young as kids can even start in sports, right? What advice would you give that young boy that's thinking about joining that team that was in the same position in the world when they were 4 or 5 years old, maybe 7, 8? What advice would you give him about kind of navigating through other peers, other boys his age, from kind of looking down or, you know, kind of judging him in that way. Because I was lucky that I was on a football team as well. I would go from cheer practice to football practice. I would have cheer competitions, football games, the same weekends. Crazy, right? But what advice would you give that boy that doesn't have that outlet and just wants to perform?
Do it, 100%. You know, you're gonna have people your entire life who don't like you, and at the end of the day, the only person who's gonna be in your life for the rest of your life is yourself, and you can't please everybody. As long as you have the support, and just do it. If you love it, then do it. You know, don't listen to what anyone else says. It's not worth it, because at the end of the day, they're not gonna be there forever. If you do get hated on, ignore it. You know, you're doing what you love, and that's what other people can't say that they're doing either. So if I had to give advice to young kids who were starting cheer, I would just say if you love it, then do it, and it shouldn't matter what anyone else says or cares. Cheerleading's cool. Like, anytime I've tumbled, people are, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm not quite understanding, or I wouldn't understand people who had any judgment towards it, because it's a sport, it's athletic, and overall, I mean, it's a cool sport. So screw what other people think, and just if you love it, then do it.